Good morning. Today is Wednesday, January 13th, 2021. We are still in the statistics unit, chapter 3, topic 3. It's called weighted mean. Now, weighted mean is similar to mean, where the data for the mean each contributes equally to the overall average. However, with weighted mean, some of the data contributes more and some of the data contributes less, depending on what their weight has been assigned to it. Data values with larger weighted values contribute more, and data with smaller weighted values contribute less. So where do we use weighted mean? Well, I'm kind of looking at the statistics lesson 3 weighted mean notes, and I'm kind of going a little bit faster to give you quicker information about it. What we're going to do is we're going to use the idea of a teacher calculating out your assignments, your midterm mark, your final exam to give you a weighted mean overall average to your grade, what your grade is. Now, when we do marking, we have categories such as assignments, midterm, final exam, projects, daily work might be part of the assignment category. Sometimes we call it assignments or daily work. Now, each of those categories has a specific weight to them out of 100%. In this case, I gave 75% to assignments for the overall final grade, midterms worth 12.5%, and final exams worth 12.5%, equaling out to be 100%. So let's take a look at the question. You want to determine your final mark in grade 12 math essentials. Assignments are worth 75%, midterm 12.5%, final exam is 12.5% as well. You have received a mean mark of 76% on all your assignments. That means an average mark for your assignments. You have also received a mark of 68 on your midterm exam. You estimate that you will receive a mark of 80 on your final. What will your final mark be? So what we needed to do for this question, and for a few other ones coming up in your assignments, is create a table. And the table will have assignments as an item, midterm, final exam. What you achieved is known as your value, or X. You achieved on assignments 76. 68 on the midterm, and a final exam of 80. Assignments has a 75% weighted value, but mathematically, we can't use that as a percent form. We have to put it back to a decimal. So assignments will be 0.75, midterm 0.125, final exam 0.125. So then you take your 0.75 and you times that to your 76 that you achieved. That will give you 57. Then you take your 68 and you times that to 0.125. That will give you 8.5. And then you do the 80 for your final exam times 0.125. That will give you 10. Now add the values up. 57 plus 8.5 plus 10, and that will equal 75.5. Now, if you divide the value you have there by 1, you can basically get it as a percent. You know right away this is going to be 75.5%. The step here, it says in your notes, is add the weight of each individual value. We did that. The denominator is out of 0.10, which is basically 0.1 is 100. You basically take your 75 divided by 1 and you get 75.5%. Example number 2, weighted value. The teachers of 2 grade 12 classes, English classes at FCI, want to find the mean final exam score for both classes. The first class, which I've labeled on my chart as item 1, has 24 students. And its mean score for final exam was 62%. Right there. The first class, which we have at 62%, the second class, labeled 2, had a population of 30 students and a final exam score of 78. So I put item 1, the value which was the final exam average score of 62%, the weight would be the number of students. 2, class number 2, their final exam value was 78%, average, and the amount of students, which would be the weight, was 30. So step number 1. To calculate the weighted mean, first multiply each value by its weight. So 24 times 62. 30 times 78. So 62 times 24 is 1488. 30 times 78 is 2340. Step number 2, add the two values together. So 1488 plus 2340. That would give you 3,828. Now, we add the weights together. 24 plus 30. And that would give you 54. Step number 3. To figure out the mean is we take that number of the two values of 1488 plus 2340, which was 3,828, and we divide that by the total number of students. That would give us 70.89 as a percent. Therefore, the weighted mean of the final exam score for both classes is 70.89. The weighted means activity 1 assignment is going to be a little bit of a challenge for you. I'm not going to deny that. If question 1 seems to be a little bit too difficult, I would suggest going to question 2 of Janie and Scotty in their math class. The marks that are listed are there. You're going to need to make a chart for Janie and a chart for Scotty. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the chart on the board for you so you see the chart for question 2, but I'm not going to do the math. I'm going to show you the chart to help you out for question 2. So Janie and Scotty are in a high school math class for question 2 on your weighted means activity 1. Janie's marks for test 1, which is a weighted value of 15%, was 80. Test 2, which had a weighted value of 25% to her overall grade, she scored a 73. Test number 3, which was a weighted value of 10% to the overall grade of her class, she scored a 69. And assignments, which are worth 20% to the overall grade, she scored 83. For participation, which is a 5% weighted value, or 5% weighted value to her overall marks, she scored 100. And her final exam, which is a weighted value of 25%, she scored 65 on that. Now Scotty, test 1, scored a 79. Test 2, 84. Test 3, 73. Assignments, 52. Participation, 97. And final exam mark of an 87. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start you off just to give you the beginnings here. We can't do both of them at the same time here for mathematics. We're going to talk about Janie. So for Janie, what we're going to do is take the beginning part of her test 1. We're going to take 80 and times that 0.15. You need that number. 73 times 0.25. Need that number. 69 times 0.1. 83 times 0.2. 100 times 0.05. And 65 times 0.25. Once you get those answers, you're going to add them up. And then what you're going to do is pretty much divide, when you add them all up, divide by 1, because all of these percentages should equal 100. As a decimal, 100 is 0.1. So you're going to add those all up and divide by 0.1 to get you the actual percentage. You'll see it without doing the divide by 0.1 once you add them all up. Scotty's will be the same idea. This is Janie's. And what will you do for Scotty's? Well, you do the same thing. 79 times 0.15, get the answer. 84 times 0.25, so on and so forth. I like that question better than I do question 1 about the Manitoba, Quebec, French, English population. As for the other questions after that, I do believe that's just a very short 2-question assignment.